Greetings and welcome to Die presents the Titans Gift Season 2, Episode 22. I'm your demon host, Marty, joined by the entire Seattle crew. This evening, I'm going to make your mics hot like an engine. There we go. Mics are on. How is everyone doing on this weird Tuesday?
Not everybody at once, please.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys, I mean, really, you guys are just a whole bunch of microphone hoarders.
I'm ready to escape.
You ready to escape? Yeah, same here.
Oh my god, me too, please.
Sounds like we all had the same day.
Yeah, we're good, Marty. We're
Yep.
real.
Yep.
Definitely. I'll say one thing. I'll say that that the unrest over the weekend really took my mind off the global pandemic for a while. You know, so I got that going for me.
Well, there's... Okay.
Here's Marty. I live in downtown Seattle, so it was a little bit of a stressful weekend for me, but we're safe, and you know we're doing
That's what
good.
matters.
Yeah, from the pictures you sent us, I would be stressed out too if I saw that from my balcony.
But on the plus side, we got a lot of the Expanse in over the weekend, and it's a fantastic show. You know.
What are you up to?
Oh yeah.
Season 3, we're like past the halfway point. The war is, spoiler alert, between Mars and Earth. It seems to be over. The Belters formed a state. It's so good. It's so much fun space adventures being had over here.
Cool. Saurus is enjoying it?
Oh yeah. Saurus has been a great quarantine companion. We're enjoying the Expanse. We've been playing Overcooked too. We're trying to move on after the outward experience we had and find a little fun game to kind of cleanse the palate.
Nice.
Nice.
Matt, what's new with you, man?
Yeah, we watched the first Underworld movie. Jen hadn't seen it, and it's actually kind of awesome. It's not gonna win any Oscars, right? But yeah, man, that's a pretty cool movie.
It's a decent movie. I've got the Underworld series on the shelf. It definitely goes downhill the longer the series goes. Like, it's definitely like, what's the point anymore, almost? But that first movie is like, it sums up the 90s vampire genre really well.
Yeah,
And it's not a 90s movie. It's just there was that late 90s push where there was vampire everything. And that one was like, and now the final one that we're really going to pay attention to, and no more, like, you know, glitter vampires aside. But
right, yeah. There's glitter vampires who live forever for some bizarre reason. Pretty solid though. So we've been trying to, and we've been catching up on Community.
Yes, I've been binging Community. I'd never watched it, and I'm at about season 3 or 4 now in Community. It's fucking hilarious.
I think we're in early season 5 now.
Okay.
And yeah, it's still good. I'd seen an episode here and there.
Yep.
Never really kind of watched it, which is kind of like with The Office that I watched all the way through like a year ago for the first time. That's a shockingly good series too.
Awesome series.
Harmon does the meta comedy quite well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
The D&D episodes in that show are just so exciting to watch. As a D&D nerd, they just are so much fun.
Yeah, we just finished watching the second D&D episode.
I'm not there yet, so don't spoil that one.
Yeah, I won't spoil it for you, but I will say that the idea that the DM is the only one that rolls the dice is sort of a stupid narrative shortcut.
That's in Harmon Quest too. Like Dan Harmon's D&D web show, he is the DM and rolls all the dice because his like players are like celebrities and stuff, and like they can't be trusted to manage their
Probably keeps them
Fair
from
enough.
like killing time and stuff, just trying to add things, right?
Yeah.
I could see that being part of the platform.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that's really odd. I'm trying to think, like, the earliest experiences that I had playing role-playing games, there was one set of dice. And now we're talking like I was 6 or 7, right? And we're all around like a desk. There's 4 of us sitting around like the office in my buddy's basement, which was his dad's office. And we've got our character sheets, and we're all rolling the same D20. because
Well,
we
to be
all,
fair,
to be
D20.
fair.
Yes. By the way, almost through the first season. Good show.
Letterkenny? Yes.
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 Figured it out.
Figured it out, bud.
D other than 6 used to be hard to find.
Yep.
There was a period of time when like you had one set and that was it. Like there was no internet to order off of.
I still have the first D20 I've ever rolled.
Oh, it's on the shelf.
Nice.
He's getting it. You know he's gonna get it.
I definitely don't. I wish I did.
Oh my god, the whole
We wanted dice it. We had to go down to the Wizard's Keep, which was this the local game shop in Muncie, Indiana.
do a side quest to get it.
Good stuff.
That is the first D20. This is the D20 that when we were 6 or 7, we were all around the same table rolling the die. I did not own this D20 for all of its existence. At one point, my buddy that I was playing with after high school went to college and then became a police officer, just didn't have time to roleplay. And he left his dice at my place, which he inherited from his older brother, who was our first DM. And I'm like, Joe, do you want your dice back? He's like, nah, keep them. So I went sifting through this box of dice to find this sucker, and he's been sitting in this little container ever since. So this is the first D20 Marty has ever rolled, and
Nice.
it's over almost 30 years ago. Jesus, wait, no more than 30 years ago.
If
Yeah.
Jones were here, he'd yell at you that this belongs in a museum.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So that was that. Yep. Cool.
Does anyone know if like the weird ass dice, like other than D6?
Polyhedral dice.
I guess, yeah.
Nerd.
Well, did they? I mean, technically a regular polyhedral. Did they?
There are if the internet's to be believed, there are ancient Egyptian artifacts that look like polyhedral dice, like non-standard 6-side.
They found a
dice.
D20 in Egypt.
Yeah, like a dodecahedron.
Well, but is it because it's a die, or is it just because it's a dodecahedron? Because, I mean, they studied geometry. Like, that was a big deal for them.
I don't know. You get a D20, you're going to go, hey, 20 sides. Let's put a dot for each of the numbers on each of the sides and roll this sucker. You know, they had dice. They played dice in ancient times. It was probably some religious artifact where they're like,
I was wondering, like...
hold on, we have to roll for initiative. And, a cat runs by, and it's all good.
Back in the very, very old time.
Yeah, exactly.
Back when we were calculating take-up.
Yeah.
Well, what I was wondering is, like, Gygax and, like, that crew, or it probably wasn't them, but, like, whoever started using non-D6 dice for tabletop games, like, not even just RPGs.
I think it has its roots in wargaming, where there were you needed different dice for different probabilities.
So that's where it came from.
That's where it came from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably.
Because I know that there was connection to war games, but I didn't know if that weird dice were used in those as well.
Yep. Back in the ancient Egyptian times when they're playing stone and sorcery games, and
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Known as religion. That's what the rules back then.
They were like fantasizing about the era that came before. They're like, yeah, let's play some ancient Babylon. I don't know. Maybe did I get that in order? Anyways. Okay. Neil, what's going on with you?
Nothing much, Marty. Just tired. Long day, long week. I could do with a break.
Ready to fireball a thing?
Ready to fireball a thing. Ready to put a wall somewhere.
Cool.
Hoping to come across a bad guy I can put inside an invisible bubble. But other than that, it's all good.
Well, the jerks can easily find bad guys. Funny.
I'm just saying that the people on the stream wouldn't know this, but Max was giving us some insights, some of the tricks he has up his sleeve, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of those.
Cool. Max?
I will use my update time to say that a dodecahedron is for a D12. An isocahedron, I think, is the one that you want for a D20.
Is it?
Yeah.
Icosahedron.
Yeah, icosahedron. There you go.
Yeah.
No, I'm doing pretty well, man. I started a new job a couple weeks ago that you know about. It's going well. I'm finally hitting that rhythm of like, oh, I get why this is hard now. So it's been good.
Job ain't nothing but work, man.
Cool. Who didn't I get? Luke, Gene? Matt?
What about you, Marty?
So I took a break from watching Community to go through Letterkenny. I'm on about season 5 of Letterkenny in the last week. Hilarious stuff. We've been playing a lot of game. Like we played last night. Mark invaded my solo D&D game where I DM myself. So it turned into a 2-man D&D game last night. That was fun. And I have caught up with all the uploads for Titan's Gift. I have uploaded something like 30 episodes in the last week. So we have caught up on YouTube. You can catch up on the rest of season 1 and all of season 2 up until tonight, obviously on YouTube. Also caught up with Grimstone Chronicles, and my next step for kind of like housekeeping is to update the website, which I think the episode guides are not up to date, so I will do that. There was a request from the stream to do a automatic character generator, like race and class, something that we did in the Dread and Circus campaign where we're generating random gladiators. They wanted to see that in script form. I realized that a bunch of nested tables was really nasty to code in JavaScript, so I'm going to create a really big flat table and then, stick that into a generator and yeah. Anyway, so that's how I'm keeping busy.
Do you need any help with the site?
No. Nope. It is. I've got all the processes down. It's just procrastination or prioritizing what's more important. I figure content's more important than the meta commentary around the content, so it's just an order of operations thing.
I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
Videos on YouTube are pretty big.
Yep. Okay, what happened last game? Last game was called The Scare Bears. Faraday speaks to Lieutenant Grubauer. He tells her about a bear-like humanoid hiding out in the slough, and that it has a gray bounty on its head. The Jerks Emeritus spot a squad of alchemists and their alchemical golems who are in the process of tracking down the subject. In a show of force, the Jerks defeat the alchemists and the golems. During the fight, a strange entity enters the professor's thoughts. The subject turns out to be a rarity, the individual of a recently formed inheritor race. His name is Thurgus, a warrior and priest of a strange bear god. And he's being hunted by agents of the Arch Alchemist after escaping their horrible dungeon. I think you guys ended the game riding around in the scarage, trying to figure out what your next move was. You had definitely used a lot of your magical oomph in that fight. You cast a lot of 4th circle spells that I had never seen from this party before. And definitely took it to the Arch Alchemist gang. There is an unconscious captive in your scarage. Let me just grab that token. Where were we last game? We were at the Jade Joy Lane. And you
Is that how you pronounce it?
Jag.
Jag Joy Lane?
Oh, that's right. Yes.
I'm just going to drag the unconscious robed alchemist onto the conversation layer, and I'll force you guys there. So we're going to basically resume with you guys rolling around in the scarage, kind of in your right now in the Leatherton district. It smells bad here because this is where much of the leather in the city is cured and made.
Now it smells like burnt piss.
Yep, burnt piss, and there would be a lot of cattle and pig and livestock pens, which would add to the aroma, if you will. Not to mention the odd bit of rot. You're not too sure if that is somebody who has died recently because of the plague or other things. There are the telltale signs of the recent. Isn't this topical? The recent unrest that has happened since the death of King Eodred II.
We just talked about escape.
Some boarded up shops and signs of looting. Oh my god, this module. I
I heard
swear.
there was some crazy guy lighting fire.
I swear. This is either the best or the worst timing. We're on module 2. We have been setting this shit up for over a year now, so
Marty,
yeah.
just to know what's the next thing happening in Seattle. What's the next thing in the module?
It's gonna be Marty's twist to the module, so you won't be able to read about it. But if this next part happens to North America, we're really boned.
Oh,
So you're telling me I could sell my
for
stock?
our characters.
I'm not quite sure it's applicable. Queen Trump might have some problems.
Right.
What did you say about the next president, Donald?
No
Dennis Rodman?
no politics, no real world stuff on here. Okay.
I was trying to make a joke about Dennis Rodman. not
Oh, okay. No, I'm stopping it here. All right. So you guys are rolling around. This alchemist has been beat to unconsciousness. I think he was one of the ones that was caught in the webs.
Yeah, no. He was shot with a sleep arrow. He wasn't.
Oh yeah, he was shot by the sleep arrow. He got fireballed, was shot by the sleep arrow, and was trying to run away when Son grabbed him.
Yeah.
Okay, where are you guys headed? Right now you're just kind of rolling through the streets, and many of you use a lot of spells, and some of you I think have damage.
Yeah. Can I heal some of that up with a wand? Do I have some time to do that?
Yep, yeah, there's plenty of time. There's at least, you guys have rolled around in the streets for at least a half an hour, putting some distance between you and the and your ambush.
Zephyros, where are we again? Where were we going?
It seems like you were out of it quite a bit today, Professor. But you're doing okay.
Oh, I feel a bit scatterbrained today, not quite myself. Not very restful last night, as you all know. But, where?
I don't actually know where we're headed right now. We need to figure it out.
Professor, I have something I'd like to run by you. A perfumer that runs that cure racket out of their shop. What if we showed up and brought our true healer, Ukrabek here, that can indeed cure disease, and it turned out that around the time we showed up, the perfumer started showing actual symptoms of the blood plague. That would make it pretty clear that her cures were false. Then we could offer to cure her for real. I'm putting it in air quotes. And she could have two choices. Either she could admit her cures are false and stop blaming the Nezumi and be cured, or she could resist and succumb to the illness.
Yes, a most interesting proposal. I do remember something about a cure shop earlier. I suppose if we go and get her to come out in the streets, I can provide the appropriate color to the words you're painting.
You have the magic to... Yes, that makes sense.
Who is this fellow we have tied up here on the ground or incapacitated?
I don't mind. I hope you don't mind that I interject. One of the stipulations of being a priest of the god of mercantilism is to not interfere with other people's business in a manner such as this.
Is your god also, as I recall, something to do with fairness of merchants? I don't believe this shop is covered.
Yes, you would have to bring this up in a more thoughtful way. Simply going into the shop and creating mayhem is frowned upon, regardless of what they're selling. I would like to be dropped off at the end of the street before you pay them a visit.
Right, so we're gonna go in and buy information?
Yes, we're using particularly aggressive negotiating tactics, if I understand Pharisee's plan.
I think you do.
I don't
do we-
understand aggressive negotiations.
Do we actually have a reason to believe that the perfumer simply going back on their word and saying, oh, by the way, nezumi are actually not at fault? Is that suddenly going to protect them, nezumi? I mean,
I think if they go back on their word, we'd simply pay them another visit.
well, no. I'm not saying that the perfumer goes back on their word. I'm saying if we force them to go out in the street and say, hey, nezumi are not at fault, the perfumer would be actually honest saying that. And even if they don't contradict that statement later, will them going and announcing that...
Is Son saying this, or is this in Jean's voice?
Son is saying this.
Okay.
Who speaks with Jean's voice? Because, they sound very much alike.
Yeah, I'm just making sure there isn't, like,
Yeah.
a horrible
It's
amount of metagaming.
coincidental, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I understand what you mean, son. That don't exactly change the situation on the streets. One statement, right?
Or even many. The problem is nezumi have been victims of prejudice for, well, really, since they existed, I think. Not that I know much about them. And
Our end of the bargain is harass the perfumer.
right. Well, yeah, I mean, that's true. I was just thinking, might there be something more effective that the perfumer could do beyond going out and just
I'm open
making
to
that
ideas. Yeah, I'm open to ideas.
right?
Ah, I could eat a bunch of their stuff.
Oh, that's certainly true.
I like that plan.
I don't quite see how it helps us, but it would be an interesting situation.
It's a bit more leverage, shall we say.
Ah, yes.
We could well, what if... Nah, never mind. Let's go slap them around.
Oh, we could take them out into the street and challenge them to a duel. And if they win, they can say whatever they want. But if we win, they got to tell the truth.
Ooh, a most interesting proposal.
Why don't we just beat them to shit and get them to tell the truth any case?
Oh, I like that plan too.
Why do anything else?
I think it's a good backup plan. Using illusions and whatnot might draw less attention to us.
Does anyone here, well, I suppose other than you, Bookback, I'm sure you know a lot about it, but you can't go in there. And don't get me wrong, I understand. But does anyone here know anything about how to read, like, business notes, accounting, charts, papers?
Professor would.
Professor, do you know?
As part of my studies, I did at least some coursework in accounting and the sciences of business. Survey courses mostly. It is not my specialty.
Son does a Google search through his vocabulary, does not find the word survey in there, but doesn't say anything. So here's why I ask. I mean, it's entirely possible that the perfumer is really just looking to make quick buck on public misery. don't we all at one point or another? But it's also possible that it's to someone's interest, the unrest that they're really propagating by providing false cures. It would be good to look into their paperwork and see if there might be trace, or better yet, evidence of outside influence in there.
That would be interesting. Perhaps they're in league with the alchemists.
It is worth rifling through the paperwork while we're in the shop, I suppose.
Bukerbeck's kind of shifting uncomfortably while giving you a big smile. He's not saying anything, and Pixel's dancing above Pharisee saying, "I want some perfume."
What does Pixel smell like, by the way?
Like there's a tinge of ozone.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, fair enough.
Ahmed in the stream is sore about the death of Malbut.
I think we still got his body around somewhere.
Probably Villa Malavella.
Yeah, it's back at the villa. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it sounds like we're making our way to this perfumer's shop. We will attempt to gain entry using negotiations and perhaps a bit of trickery. Once inside, who knows how the situation will progress, but we can look through for evidence of more deep nefarious plots while inside. Do I understand the plan correctly then?
Yes. Yes, I believe so.
I think so. But on the more immediate side, we still have a really body to interrogate.
Oh, right.
At the very least, let's store him somewhere before we go. Or I would prefer to interrogate him right now and then,
Yes, let's
probably
get
kill him.
I think, before too long. Marty, where we buy anything we already know? We're pretty far away from where we used to hang out the most.
Yeah, you didn't spend much time in the Leatherton district.
Yeah, that's right.
I think Manny's old meat shop might be there. Let me have a look.
Lots of people get tortured in meat shops. You got all those hooks, butchery in the back. Sounds like a great plan.
Devil's Pawn Shop is the next thing over. I don't think we ever put a dot on the map for the all. What was it called? The All Worlds Meats. All World Meats. We can. I think it was on the.
That is a very nefarious sounding name, by the way.
Sounds real shady.
Yes.
All right, so we'll put All World Meats on the map. You're close to that.
Probably has a basement.
All World Meats is somewhat nearby. Either that or, we are down in the slough. Could we not just find an abandoned building somewhere people don't ask questions?
Marty, having been sort of underground, would I have a good sense of nearby abandoned buildings? Like, did I scout the place to try and find one that...
Yeah, so this a knowledge local or a survival check would probably give you this if you're familiar with the slough.
I've been here for, a month? Would you call that familiar?
Couple months, yeah.
Okay, I'd like to roll survival then, if that's alright. That's only a 19.
If you go back towards the Grey District, on the edge of the Grey District in Leatherton, there might be an old... it's like a mausoleum from some older culture that was cleared out and never used for anything. Like there is sort of an underground room that you could go into.
Oh, there was this, back in the Grey District, right when I first broke out, there was like this dead place underground, and I decided not to hide there because it gave me the creeps. We could go there though.
Yeah. Fine by me. Shall we?
Sure. We do have reason to believe, though, that the plague originated in the Great District. So don't touch anything. And, wear masks, social distance.
Fair enough. It's a dangerous place in the best of time.
I could remove disease like 2 more times today.
Yeah.
Off we go then.
Okay, the locals call it the Hidden Cistern, because there is a room with a well in it, and that maybe desperate folk might go to this well to draw water if they needed to. There is a ramp that leads down into this building that's big enough that your Scarage could ride all the way down into the building.
Marty, when we're, let's say, roughly on the border between Great District and Leatherton,
Yep.
I'd like to cast Detect Undead.
Sure.
So, just keep it activated, kind of look around, tell me if, I start sensing any.
I'm just going to look up how long Detect Undead lasts.
A minute per level.
Cool. And on the first round, you basically, if you're constantly moving, it means you're constantly in the first round detecting the presence or absence of undead auras. So I will let you know you're sitting up top or off the side and pointing your hand out of the street, and you're just sort of scanning the street as you go by. Okay, let's say there's a 1 in 100 chance there is undead on the way there. We'll roll 1. You find something undead? Nope. Thurgus ends up pointing out the way to go, and you guys see that it's like the rubble of some previous building. Huge blocks of stone that are the foundation of the building, and this ramp that leads down the left-hand side of the ruined building, and then it takes a curve into the building itself. You can see that there are a bunch of, like, at the bottom of the ramp, a bunch of buckets. Some of them destroyed, some of them still useful, and some other basins used to probably port water around. You could actually drive the Scarage into the basement of this foundation if you wanted to.
I think the professor is sort of got lost in his thoughts again, and is like locked in mental turmoil again, and sort of isn't paying attention. So the carriage will go until someone causes a commotion, yells to stop, or until it runs out of distance to go. Until it's all the way in that basement.
Does Thurgus need to give directions to the professor or to the unseen servant that's driving it?
It's this weird chain of to the professor, who then does something to the unseen servant.
Okay, he shakes the old man. Oi, old man, we want to go. You just miss it. God damn it, you need to go. I just said, oh my God, it's where all the water.
No, please.
For fuck's sake, should I just walk?
Luckily, the street is wide enough to do like a 4-point turn in order to turn the magical Scarage.
By the way, Marty, I meant to ask you about that. Because when we were right after the fight, we did like a 3,000 point turn to go back.
Yeah.
Can horse carriages go backwards?
I think they can.
Right.
I think with handle animal, you can make animals back up.
Well, no, an animal can go back, but is the pulling system set up in a way where there's something? You see what I mean?
This is magical, though.
Right. Well, is the magical carriage designed for turns?
Yes, it is. We will look up the accuracy of can horse-drawn carriages move backwards.
Right.
It's probably difficult because you see lots of sweeping lanes and these cul-de-sacs and circles. But I imagine if you really had to, you could make the carriage go backwards.
You probably could get out and whoa.
Probably not for long travel, but for maneuvering, I'm pretty sure you can make the carriage go backwards.
Right. Well, I mean, the magical one.
Yeah.
Why not? But for actual horse-drawn ones, I would wonder. Anyway, yeah, that wasn't in character.
Okay, yeah, the carriage drives right into this area. It is a wide open basement. There are some really heavy looking column-like structures that are somewhat arced that are holding up the roof of this place and the rubble above. And there is a wide stone well at the center, and there's enough room you could ride your carriage around the well. There are lots of buckets and what look like lean-tos and tents that are set up between the large colonnades. Like, this might be a place where people camp out. Let's see if there's anyone home at this point in time. If I roll high, there's a good population of people already here. If I roll low, you might be on your own. 3. There's somebody here. And if I had the random character generator, I would roll it right now. Let's say 5. Just look up common races.
He's not doing it, Marty. Computer. Generate random
On my
character.
list, 5 would be a half-orc. Dwarf, elf, gnome, halfling, half-orc.
Ooh, that's a good one to be hiding back there. We don't really run into orcs, though.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
There's not been a lot in this world.
That's true.
Fair.
I
was just looking at
that
base
may be
races.
why he's hiding in the hidden cistern rubble part of town, you know.
Okay. There is somebody that's coming out of like a that's coming out of what looks like a series of tents
Whoa.
and tarps that have been set up like tents. The creature is eyeing you guys as you roll in, and I'm just going to put the token down on.
I absentmindedly pull the cloak over. I forget that I'm supposed to be laying low a lot.
The creature's small, stout, has got weird green skin, feral features, yellow eyes. Does not seem to be afraid of you. Seems to be more curious than anything.
We can see him?
Yeah, you guys have done a full circle before Thurgus finally gives you a tap in the shoulder to stop the scarage, and the scarage stops, like almost on a dime. Like everyone lurches forward a little bit.
I'll burn Magus Arcane Point and cast Auditory Hallucination before anybody gets that.
How many humans is it equal to?
I don't know, actually. I think I could get this one to equal quite a lot of equivalent.
Because we're in the basement, so there's like, acoustics to consider.
This one, since it's a phantasm, I don't think anybody but this creature will hear it. This creature and the professor who's imagining it.
Okay, well, whatever this creature is, its body is covered in bark-like skin and is got thorny vines kind of wrapped around him.
I'll pop out and say hello.
I'm going to imagine or have him imagine that like someone he trusted, like a sort of like older figure, like someone who was some sort of played some kind of like master formative role, something like that out of his mind, and it will whisper to him, "You must go. It is not safe here. This carriage portends doom. Please run."
Okay, what's the will save of this?
Not too inaccurate, by the way.
DC 19 plus 2, 21 plus spell level is 2, 23 plus 1 for the arcane point. 24?
I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Yeah.
going to do it.
That's what he looks like. And he. Oh, let's see if we get.
Oh look, it's my apps.
Hello.
The professor kind of looked out of the carriage. I'm just trying to get this into view. There he is. And cast a spell, and he's listening. He looks really nervous after the professor leaned out and cast a spell. Who are you?
Run, you fool! They will strip the bark from your bones.
I'm Pharisee of Autumn.
Witch, she's come to bring your doom.
He goes running into his little encampment area. You can hear pots and pans and things kind of falling over, and like one of the ropes for the for his lean-to kind of collapses, and you could hear a flurry of movement inside. Pharisee stepped out, and he seemed absolutely terrified when he saw Pharisee.
Interesting.
A whisper yell in his voice is just going, "Get out of there!" Just like over until he leaves.
Is it Faye, Marty?
You can give me a knowledge nature. You got a good look at it when you stepped out of the cart.
37?
It is an augmented humanoid. You're thinking a gnome that has been somehow turned into a plant.
Strange. A plant-like gnome.
And you're
Fleshy gnome?
and you're thinking that they're called bramble creatures.
I've heard of them. Bramble creatures. Quite rare, I think.
She has seen you.
Does it happen
Quite like
quickly?
Dark Wilder, or quite different from me, but interesting.
Is it a creature that is changed over time, or does it just become like that quickly?
Not sure.
I heard this rumor once about a guy or a creature who had a plant coming out of his ear. I'm not sure how true that was. Do you think it could be related?
They are supposed to be rare creatures that haunt dark thickets of, and forests and fields. They generally stay away from people. You wonder what this thing is doing here, and with your 37, I'm gonna type what kind of gnome you also think it is.
Gnome way, dude. Are you sure we know what type it is?
Ah,
What else we got there? There's so much for gnome.
I know. It's got to be somewhere in the nomenclature.
I think it might be a bit like our old friend Dark Wilder.
When he ran into his little lean-to, and he's hiding there.
Their voice is yelling at him to go farther.
Yeah, you can hear him packing things up.
Perhaps he won't bother us.
Oh, I think he'd be gone momentarily if you'd like to wait. I think he's got a certain portent that it is unwise and unsafe to remain in the area.
Interesting.
Okay,
We won't stay long.
he comes running out a little bit. He pauses. He looks absolutely mortified and terrified at Pharisee. He actually like starts to retch, and this white fluid gets upchucked onto the ground. He wipes his mouth and then is running with a bunch of what look like personal effects kind of towards the ramp where you guys had.
That may be what the blood plague looks like in his kind.
He turns around right before he kind of goes up the ramp and out of view, and he's looking at Pharisee and points at her, and then goes running up the ramp. You can hear him dropping stuff as he's going.
Has
It's
this
been one of
cart
those
been fed up?
days.
What's that?
Has the alchemist already been tied up?
No.
I'd like to do that before we drag him out of the cart.
It's a Thurgus. Gets some rope, ties up. I'm assuming you have rope.
Yeah, I got 100 feet of silk.
Okay. Yeah, Thurgus is pretty good at. He's got a good CMD, so he's tied up really nice. I think when you tie someone up, it's 20 plus your CMD.
Great.
Escape artist checks. I think it's easier to break the rope than it would be to.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And we made sure that he was disarmed and he doesn't have any loot on him. And all that
Yep.
kind of
He
stuff.
is. He is down to his britches.
Yeah, so while the whole gnome situation was happening,
Yep.
Son didn't actually have anything against interrogating the alchemist with the gnome's presence, because it's not like we have anything to hide. So this whole time, Son was, I guess, essentially pulling him out of the cart and like arranging him against a wall. And then I guess he'd like to. If Son cures him, casts curing him, would that wake him up?
Likely.
Right.
You could also wait probably a half hour to an hour, and he might start to recover some of that non-lethal damage.
Nah, no reason. Yeah, remind me how channel works.
Channel heals everyone within a 30-foot radius for the amount that you channel. You are an 8th level priest, so that would be 4d6. You need feats to exclude enemies from the channel.
Mm-hmm.
You decide whether you're harming undead or healing the living with your version of channel.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the charisma to even take the feats that I'm talking about to exclude enemies. So typically your channels would likely either be combat versus the undead or to heal your party after fighting. You would have to position him 30 feet away from yourself or move 30 feet away from him to exclude him from your channel.
There is a DC associated with it. Is that related to the...
Yep. DC is related to if you were harming undead, they would get a saving throw versus your positive energy, which they find abhorrent.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm actually like right next to him. So I'm channeling to heal him. If others are nearby, I guess they'll get affected.
Okay. A weird wave of white energy goes blasting out of Son as he's got his hand around the holy symbol of Iambulus. And everyone is healed for 4d6. You can also
have to be a white energy.
You could change the color if you want.
No, I'm just, topical events.
It's positive energy, which means it's healing magic. It tends to be not ooky. 16 healing. You could also take average if you wanted to, but you rolled already. So 16 healing to everyone. He heals 16 non-lethal and 16 lethal. So he's at 21 lethal and 5 non-lethal. The robed alchemist sputters awake. And he looks down at himself. He looks around. "Hi," says Makernam, and he's like trying to wiggle away from Makernam, and he's just basically rolling around at the bottom of your wagon. He's
no. Some pulled him out and set him against a stone,
all right,
or like something to set his back against.
I can hold him if you want. If you're gonna take point on talking to him.
I'm on the Wrecker's Alley map, even though we're not at Wrecker's Alley.
Right? Yeah, I can see that. Please, hold him.
You wake up.
Yeah, he's awake. Have you put anything in his mouth?
Well, when you tied him up, did you run a rope through his mouth?
I hadn't intended to, but if he starts to scream, I'll just shove my claw in there.
Okay. He was starting to make noises like help and call out, but he.
I just take a big bear paw in front of his mouth. And I'll let the claws kind of sink in a little bit. You better be quiet because we're about to ask you some questions. And if you're smart, you will answer very, very quietly.
Give me an intimidate check. Son, you can definitely aid.
Sure.
I'm not good at this yet. Oh, yes.
Does favorite enemy help with intimidate?
great question. Roll without for now, and then I'll look it up.
So it's a 20 with aid.
20 with aid. Favorite enemy.
No, it doesn't. It helps with bluff, though. But
Bluff.
not intimidate.
You know how to lie to humans, not intimidate them. Interesting.
Right.
You'd think it'd be all charisma, but yeah. 20, 16 definitely aids. So 20. The DC of this would be 10 plus his hit dice, plus his wisdom modifier. Okay, he is very frightened of you. He nods eagerly, like he looks like you've scared him into not screaming for help. The claws are a big help here.
Right.
Just take a big claw off the mouth.
What is your name?
My name.
It sounds like taking notes on a sheet of paper that he doesn't have.
It's Ahon.
How do you spell that?
A H. He looks at the bear claws. O
You can spell, buddy. It's fine.
N. Ahon.
An unfortunate name.
Just a minute, there's someone at the door.
Go ahead, Mark.
Why is it unfortunate? He says.
Do you feel fortunate?
My mother named me that. Didn't your mother? He looks at the claws again and he stops questioning you.
Don't question anybody's mother. Be very careful as to what your next words are. Better save them for our questions.
He nods. He looks over. He sees like the pixie and the door open and a conversation between Zephyros and the professor. He was like looking around for maybe something to help him, but nothing is.
So, are you an alchemist?
Yes.
Who were you told to find when you went out searching today?
His eyes go up to meet Thurgus's, and then he quickly looks away.
Answer me, buddy.
We were tasked to bring this specimen, this fine creature back to its cell.
Excuse me. Place of temporary residence.
Sure, place of temporary residence.
That's right.
He caused much mayhem in his escape.
Oh, yes, I did.
Right. Who tasked you to do that?
My superior?
Who's your superior?
Wizard name generator. My, You want to know my superior? Why?
Buddy, don't ask questions.
I've got to send a thank you card.
Okay. His name is Grihon.
How do you spell that?
Grihon. They call him Greasy Fingers. Because he has a penchant for flinging grease.
Everyone needs a hobby.
He nods to this like...
Yeah. Mine is torture, by the way. So, don't ask questions.
He looks absolutely mortified, and then he looks up at the bear and sees the claws and I don't know, some of the blood from the previous from the fighting that happened only hours ago.
Has it even been hours? I feel like it's been like an hour.
You guys were rolling around the city, and then you crossed the neighborhood again to come here, and
let's say a couple hours.
Yep.
If you do a good job, we'll let you go. So you got that to look forward to.
Really?
It's a little complicated, but essentially, yes.
The Ursine said that I could live.
Oh, that's not what I said. So we let you go. You gotta earn the living part. Don't worry about it. We got some more questions for you.
He looks over his shoulder again into the carriage, like he's looking for some ally in this thing. He sees the little fairy come up to me. He mouths the words "help," and it zips over to Pharisee.
What is Balamut doing while this is happening?
Balamut's I don't know. He's hopped off the carriage and is sniffing around the well, and he's playing with a bucket.
Can I tell Balamut to come up and just place his face really close to the alchemist and just kind of look at him?
He starts to cry.
Oh, I just said.
Yeah. It would be terrible, really.
I was just following orders. My superior Grihon, if I don't do what he says, they'll kick me out of the guild.
Oh, that's the worst thing that's going to happen to you. So they're like, go torture this bear. And you're like, well, I don't want to get kicked out, so might as well throw my morals out the window. He shakes him a little bit.
You don't understand.
Oh, please explain it to me. I was laying there with my guts on the table, and I didn't have sympathy for you and your guild. Please, enlighten me.
Yeah. They're supposed to be
Someone's nodding at that.
serving the... We are furthering the knowledge of the guild and of the sovereignty. We are trying to understand the secrets.
There's somebody else's philosophy that he's kind of spouting out, and he's kind of forgetting it in his dire time. Yep.
Who gave the orders to experiment on the Ursine? Was it the sovereignty or was it the guild?
Well, not the guild directly. The guild... He's like, there are many alchemists that belong to the guild that don't know about him.
Are there alchemists outside the guild?
Yes, I suppose. We don't deal with alchemists outside the guild, though.
Right. Well...
But as for orders... Well... The chief alchemist... He's in...
9 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew will be in effect tonight and each night through Saturday morning in the city of Seattle. During this time, residents...
Daily quarantine announcement.
Yeah.
Or an Amber Alert, one of the two.
Nope, that one was the curfew. It's stay indoors.
Quarantine curfew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ruining my immersion.
Yeah.
It is the Underchief.
The Underchief.
Alchemist, yes. He reports to the Arch Alchemist. He is in charge of the Ursine project.
Tell us about the Ursine project.
I only know he's not supposed to exist.
Oh, that's very rude.
Then make something up that sounds realistic.
Here's a unique creature that we wish to study in order to unravel the secrets of raising, he looks at the bear, animals to sentience via the proper application of scientific instrumentation and medicine and the arcane arts of alchemy.
Son stops him.
If we can raise intelligent creatures, we could raise, well, armies, servants, subjects, slaves,
Right.
pets, companions, tax-paying citizens.
Yeah, it was fine.
When he says tax-paying, Son like frowns. That's the part he dislikes. And I like to believe that Balamut does as well.
He
because
falls over a little. He's trying to worm away. Can I go now? You sit it back
Son,
up.
you got anything else to ask him? Because I want to give him a chance to win his freedom.
Yeah, in a minute. Because this is actually interesting. So the Underchief gave the order.
Yes, he's in charge of the project.
What's his name?
Do.
And spell it while you're at it.
Evil wizard name generator. Of course, I could also be pretending to do this.
That'd be the best way to do it. But now you got to do that every time.
He is the alchemist, the Underchief named Requiem.
What an unfortunate name. Oh, and what's the Arch Alchemist's name while you're at it?
There's a look of terror that crosses his face. Give me a second. I'm gonna roll a die.
Huh?
Ooh. And let me check his stats.
I would not be surprised if he was more afraid of the Arch Alchemist, like, bringing him back from the dead and killing him over and over and over again. Like, he might be more afraid of her than us.
He just met us, though, you know?
To be fair, he's only really seen me at my worst.
Okay, these alchemists. Okay, his bluff check is.
I don't know her name.
Can I roll a sense motive?
Sense motive DC 5.
Okay. Mine's +7.
So you get a 1, and you know he's being evasive.
Okay.
The fact that if the Arch Alchemist, who can be withdrawn and sometimes just presents the public face as the Arch Alchemist, the fact that he knows what gender she is means that he might actually know who this person is or what her name is.
I recall that I heard a female voice, right?
Yep.
Oh, come on, you gotta tell us her name.
You'll kill me if I say any more.
Yeah, that's
Not if we give you a head start.
And it's far from the worst thing that could happen to you.
I can't.
Of course you can. I believe in you.
I am a dead
Doesn't
man.
encourage. Check, by the way.
I'm a dead man.
Yeah, you are. But, you know.
Well, we don't know that yet.
Fine.
We kind
If you want to cross her,
Yeah, we do. We do.
then you're dead already.
You know, aren't we all sooner or later?
She's a Rakastan woman.
Ooh. Is she now? How do you spell Rakastan?
R A
Okay. He then starts to sob.
About the torture.
We tied him up and gagged him to put him in a fucking spelling bee.
Which, by the way, would make spelling bee way more fun.
The winner of the spelling bee gets to live. Oh god, that is so torturous.
And they're still children, and they're on national TV. You better fucking straighten the kids out.
Spell Requiem.
Yes.
Her name is Madame Vase.
So sense motive, like obviously he would try to lie here if he would like. We are aware of the fact that this is a good place to lie since we don't know the name. So I guess I'm saying sense motive. If that's
No, he's now slumped over. He thinks he's dead.
Oh no, he is.
All right,
perceptive asleep.
Ahon. Well, I'm pretty proud of you, so I'm gonna make you a special deal. And he takes his greatsword off, and he just kind of saws at the ropes, cuts them open.
Yep.
I'm gonna give you a chance, and he hands him the large-sized greatsword.
Clink! What am
Now-
I supposed to do with this?
You and me. If you win, you get to go free.
Can I have my alchemist pouch back?
No. You're lucky you got a sword, mate. And he pats him on the shoulder.
Okay, he tries to drag the sword into like a few feet away, and he can barely lift it. He's kind of doing like a semicircle on the ground with the sword. It's scratching along the cobbles.
Get used to the weight. Come on, you can do it. I'll give you the first one for free.
Okay, he drops the sword and is starting to run.
I charge him.
Okay, you could definitely charge the man. What is your movement rate in your armor?
It's 20.
Oh, let's roll initiative. I think Son, the bear, and or Balmut and Thurgus are the ones in this initiative. He rolls.
Fairstay was out there listening too, right?
He rolls a nat 20. He gets a
Ooh.
21.
Nice.
I'll let you guys roll your initiative for this
I'm
one.
out there, but
Yeah, fair sake.
I'm just observing. This is
Yep.
this is just kind of interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
There's my initiative. 4.
So this was first one was for me, and for Balmut.
Okay. Do any of you have combat reflexes?
I do.
Okay. So when he turned and ran, he incurred an AOO, even though you haven't taken your action yet. So you do get an AOO.
Okay.
His running AC. He's denied his dex because he's basically running in a straight line to the lower part of the ramp, which is the exit to this place. His flat-footed AC is 10.
Alright, well, as long as I don't roll a 1, he says, ... 26 to hit.
Okay, you're using one of your claws.
Yeah, with a power attack.
You basically open up his back, and he stumbles a few steps and
For 14.
falls face first onto the ground, and he's now unconscious and might be bleeding.
Oh yeah, he was hurt pretty bad.
That's not how you win your freedom.
40. 32, 40.
Have we drawn a
he's-
crowd in the slums yet?
You guys are in that basement area.
Oh, okay.
So he falls to the ground. He is still conscious, but he's kind of like wailing as like he's trying to crawl away. Like he's not going to be threatening at all. And it looks like his wounds aren't allowing him to run.
Do you believe the interrogation is over, Sephiroth?
What are the rest of you doing?
I don't think so. But I think we've got a pretty good seat over here where we're sitting. I
Balmut
have no intention of joining a fight right now.
Balmut goes to like attack him because it looked like everyone kind of tensed up as he was running away. Unless you call him back, Balmut's going to go and call him as well.
I don't think I'd call him back. I saw him himself maybe like took the bow off his shoulder, but
Okay.
isn't really attacking.
Balmut kind of grabs him with his teeth, bites in really hard. He screams out and then stops making noise, and he shakes them really violently and kind of tosses him off to the side. If not attended to, this man... Well, actually, from the bite from Balamut, he dies.
Well,
he had a shot. I go pick up my sword.
I'm going to see if I can find some sort of bark fragments or something over at that hut.
Yep.
So you can put it on the Spriggan.
Yeah, you find stuff that looks like he's maybe schlepped off, like stuff that's grown and fallen off of him. These little brambly vines.
Yeah, I'm going to take a little bit of that and just set it by the quarters.
Okay, nice. Planting evidence. Okay, Balamut goes back to like chewing on a barrel, and you guys have a moment, or are you spending the night here to rest, or?
Now that the interrogation is over, shall we continue on to the perfumer's shop as we intended?
Can I make a healing check to see if the healing might not be right, but like to see if the barrel's infectious with blood veil? Can healing do that, or?
You go over and you have a look. There's a lot of barrels around here because it looks like locals might use it to get water from the cistern. There does look like there's water down there. It actually looks like there's a whole like kind of an aqueduct down there. It smells a little bit musty. You're not too sure if you'd want to drink from that, or at least you'd want to check the water out. You look at the barrel. There's no signs of it there being blood or any bodily fluids. Mm-hmm. It's just an old barrel used for water.
Okay. I still kind of pull.
You pull it out of Balamut. Balamut looks like he wants to play catch with the barrel.
I explained to him like, hey, don't drink things here. It's dangerous.
Okay. He sits down with a pout.
Yeah. You said there were buckets and stuff around the cistern?
Yep.
I'd like to just kind of cast create water, and if any of them have water in them, just cast purify food and drink. Just like before I leave, I want to leave like some clean water for the people that are here.
Yeah, it looks like they've set up. It looked like there's been several shitty attempts to set up some sort of winching system. The latest thing that they've got there are a couple of planks across the length of the opening, and then they've got some ropes that are kind of going over the planks down into the middle. But there are barrels all around. There's got to be 20 barrels you guys could scavenge from this place.
While I wait for everybody else, I'll just start kind of filling them up with water.
You're just leaving this dude here? Or the guy's body here? After planting some evidence?
I don't really feel great about, framing some poor little barky gnome, but...
He's resilient. And I don't know, the guild's gonna figure out something anyway.
I mean, we did just burn down a city block.
Not intentionally.
Partially.
I mean, what the hell are we supposed to do? Fight them with, unicorn poop and, rosy smells?
You can do that?
No! We burn down blocks! That's what we do!
But why did you offer it then?
We may be able to, actually. It does give me an idea. Unicorn excrement, you say?
Do unicorns actually exist in D&D?
Don't get crazy ideas here.
Knowledge, nature, knowledge arcana.
I don't actually make the roll. This was a non-character question. But, I don't have anything against framing the gnome, but I'm not going to, assist in doing it. I think fair to say is right, is they'll figure out it was us anyway. But, at least we know his name. Maybe we can find his parents and tell them that their, let's say, son died dishonorably because he was a coward.
Well, that sounds like an awful lot of work for the moment. Shall we be going?
It is not likely legal for them to keep you in a cage to experiment upon you.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
Too
if
bad.
the sovereignty was behind it, though, that's the most interesting thing he said.
While this is going on, I'll go, driver, and tap the roof so the driver knows to start.
The Arch Alchemist, whoever it is, does occasionally work for the sovereignty. It is like a doctor. Famous doctor. The people in charge will sometimes have famous doctor come over.
Marcus, is they got told, hey, there's this really cool bear thing, you want to go and experiment, and she probably did it willingly.
That is most unfortunate. Did you say you came here all alone?
Oh, I came here as part of a failed diplomatic mission.
Who are you trying to diplomats?
We were supposed to meet this really great king, who was supposed to be like all powerful and stuff. His name was like Eldred or something like that.
Yes, Eldred II?
Yeah, sounds right.
Most unfortunate. And what made it a failed mission?
I'm pretty sure he snuffed it before we met him. And then there's like this craziness, and then we got jumped. Next thing I know, I'm waking up in a cell.
If you say you're pretty sure you snuffed it before you met him, did you actually meet with somebody?
Nope.
Because
We got told by like these little servant people who's like, you sleep over here, oh, he's so excited to meet you, blah, blah, blah. That was it.
Right. And you've not had any feedback on him since?
Nope.
What
So
if
the-
the other
is it
members
fair-
were here too?
Yes. Surely they did not send you to do all the talking.
Nope.
He slaps your shoulder, which you've got really nice armor on, right?
Yeah, it's like so. Like now that you guys can see him in the tent, and because before he was, covered and whatnot, he actually has like a beautifully crafted mithril full plate. Like it's an impressive suit of armor. It looks really comfortable. It looks like he's practiced in it. It actually functions. If you would be familiar with, probably not. But his deity, it's actually got sort of an engraved holy symbol in it, which is sort of intricately carved.
While this conversation's going on, we'll have rolled out of the rubble and back onto the street.
Okay, you go out into the streets. Daylight is dying by this point in time.
And on the way, I'm guessing we're telling him at least some of the stuff that we know about what happened with the king and the queen. The queen usurping and taking over, that sort of thing.
Yep.
Which, by the way, would be consistent with the notion that the orders to conduct the Ursine project didn't originate with the Alchemist Guild. It's entirely possible they originated with the Queen. It would be consistent with what he said, at least. Did you, Thurgus, I realize you probably didn't get to see much or, look at people when you were being experimented on, but you did say that you heard enough to recognize that the Arch Alchemist was female, at least.
Yeah, it's alright. It's kind of what I think he was telling the truth.
Right. Well, at least it's consistent with what you know. Do you think you've heard anything to support that city or government officials were involved in the project?
I will try and think on it, but my gut inclination is that I was too drugged to kind of get any sort of nuance in political intrigue. I don't know, Marty, you can tell me.
There must have been some communication between whoever your jailers were at the Citadel and then the alchemists to A, know you were in the prison, and then B, to be transferred. Like,
Mhm.
there were guards that did that transfer. And it's like
That's
you were
true.
being handed over to the alchemist. So somebody somewhere in the government knew about you guys and then had ins with the alchemists. You're actually the lead alchemist. This
Madame Vase.
no, under Alchemist Requiem, the chief under Alchemist.
Mm.
He may have stopped by your cell when you were in the Citadel to have a look at what you were.
Got it.
You remember there was
Well-
some sort of inspection, and one of the other bears was actually trotted out of the cell, and you remember getting mad, and they kind of banged on your cell to tell you to shut up, and little did you know, one by one, you and in the same carriage, the two of you were sent off. You don't know what happened to the two others in your delegation.
I've got a good sense that someone from the inside is working with the alchemist, but I don't know who, I don't know how many. Because originally, when we was taken, we was in this keep, right? And we got moved, transported, after some of the bears went missing. My friends was taken. So, at some point, either my god or some chief or some head honcho was taking people and working with these alchemists, and then we got like inspected. So there was a trade that happened. Somebody's working with somebody, but I don't know how many.
Son nods.
Did all of your people go to the alchemists? Are there some still trapped there?
I only know one, and he didn't make it.
Oh, sounds like sooner or later we'll end up in the Alchemist Tower. If nothing else, for some revenge and satisfaction.
Oh, Macronome like satisfaction.
Son like scratches Macronome's like
Latch.
neck.
Yeah, where you imagine his neck would be, as the bag's kind of flopped over a little bit.
Oh, yeah, it's very satisfying to eat things. It's very satisfying to keep them as well.
You know,
Then we'll find you some satisfaction to eat and to keep, Macronum.
Oh, you guys are the best.
Maybe sometime when we're back in the dream realm, you can point us in the direction of something like that.
Oh, I'd like to explore the dream realm. I'd also like to go back to Macronom's dreams to bounce on the talking furniture.
I think we all want to go back to that, Macronum. That was quite fun.
Yeah, except the professor. He probably doesn't want to go back to the dream world.
Well, he'd want to go back to your place. He wouldn't want to go back to that place where he was.
Oh, he didn't make it there because he was too busy with his dream, staring into the green light. I saw it, Professor.
What green?
Zephyrus starts to change the subject. Zephyrus doesn't want to talk about the green light at all.
Yes, Macronom, I've been meaning to ask you about keeping memories for me. It seems I'm a bit distracted lately with some of the goings-on in the dream. Remind me, how does one accomplish that?
You could have a mouth of Macronom in your dream. I don't know. He just is.
Yes.
I could also store a spell for you. I stored Fireball for Zephyros, and Black Tentacles for Pharisee.
Interesting, yes.
Thurgus looks
stole
very
my-
confused.
Son turns to the professor. He stored my worst nightmare too, so he might be able to help you.
Yes, perhaps next time we go to the dream realm, you could hold on to a nightmare for me.
Oh, I really like holding on to spells though, because that means that you guys can use them lots.
Yes, well, as you can see,
Maybe one of your illusion thingies.
Yes, perhaps. Perhaps later we'll talk more. Are we getting close? Driver?
Yeah,
Are we?
yeah, you guys.
GPS check?
Yeah, you guys are riding upon the neighborhood where Lavender's shop is. Are you guys just rolling right up to the shop out of the carriage? Or are you stopping beforehand? Describe your approach.
Before we get there, I would like to cast a couple buffs.
Yeah, I think we'll probably buff up on the street.
Okay.
To there, the professor, as they get close, will turn to Pharisee and say, "Are you ready, madame?"
Yes, Professor, it might make sense for you to sneak ahead and make sure her symptoms appear before we roll up. Or it could happen. Oh no, we'll need to draw her out, won't we? Because she stays in the shop. Yes, yes. I think I'm as ready as we'll need to be.
Just a timing check. So since our last battle, I'm guessing our minutes and 10 minutes per levels would have gone down, but our hours per level might still be up.
It is 3 hours since the battle.
Okay, yeah.
So hours per level are going. I'm gonna do illusion of calm, shield. I've still got mage armor going.
Okay, I'm on Racker's Alley map. This is not Racker's Alley. I just have another map hidden in the shadows. You're a couple of blocks away from Lavender's shop. A quick glance down the street looks like the line has gone away. It might be just because it's later in the day, and you get the sense riding around in the slough that it might not be safe to go out after dark.
I'm gonna cast glamour as well.
Bukerbeck hops out of the wagon.
I wish you good luck in finding and making your deal complete. But I cannot go rushing into a business, disrupting it. I am supposed to be priest that helps the businesses.
Oh, it's like plausible deniability.
Exactly, but on a spiritual level. Ha ha ha.
Thurgus likes Bukerbeck.
He looks down at Thurgus's holy symbol, and you notice he's kind of scratching his head, and he gets out like he's lost in thought. He might be trying to figure out what the fuck that is.
What is the holy symbol of the blood bear?
It is
I can tell you what I pictured, but I don't want to ruin your...
A bloody bear footprint representing the first footprint your god made upon the world.
I like it.
Claws and all, like it's kind of a...
I'll go ahead and cast Luminous on myself.
Hey, Drixer. Kenny, how's it going?
I'm gonna put up bark skin.
And heightened awareness.
Zephyros used arcane points to recall spell sword, and then he's recasting spell sword. He still has mage armor running.
What does spell sword do?
It allows him to essentially treat both his wand and his scythe as one single object. So when he casts it, his scythe essentially gains.
Oh, weapon wand, you mean?
Is it weapon wand? Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm using the wrong name. Maybe I just mislabeled it.
No, spell sword. I think spell sword. It goes.
I think it's weapon wand.
I could have sworn I looked at it earlier.
When you cast this, it's spell sword. When you cast the spell on a weapon, you cause an extra dimensional space to open within the weapon. As part of the casting, you can insert a single magic rod or magic staff.
Oh, it's for staves. Okay, weapon wand is for wands. Got it. Okay, it is the okay. Got it. So your staff of fire is inside your scythe.
Correct. So essentially, my scythe is my staff and my weapon.
Awesome.
It's like a Power Rangers morphin sword.
I have the power.
All right, are you guys exiting the scarriage, or are you rolling up in the scarriage?
I think we're gonna roll up in the scarage, and I'm gonna hold in my hand. I'm gonna take it out the wand, the meta magic wand. One sec, Pacom's wand, and I think we're gonna start out with ghost sound. It's been a while, so
Okay, so are you rolling right in front of the window of the shop, or are you down the street? Describe your approach.
I think we'll approach relatively. I think probably from a block out, there will start to be a sound traveling in front of us, as if an angry mob is approaching. It will be 4 normal humans per level, which is 8 right now. Math tells me
30. So the sound of 32 angry humans that coming down the road.
Yeah, they sound very sick though. They're like making a rabble noise, but there's coughs and there's like pained moans mixed in there. And
Okay.
we will go up to the front of the shop with that accompanying us.
How long are you maintaining this illusion while you're down the street?
I will pass control of the ghost sound off to the crawling hand, and it will concentrate on this for the time being and keep it going. And it will accompany us where we land there.
Okay. Are you letting the rabble continue? Like, are you trying to draw them out, or are you like headed immediately after you cast the spell?
I'm not sure I understand your question. I'm trying to make it
Here,
sound as
I'm gonna roll initiative, and you're in control of the scarage. This is how we'll handle it.
Okay.
Yeah. Like we already have this tool. It's called initiative.
By the way, while others were casting spells, I cast Owl's Wisdom.
Okay.
And then the last spell that Zephyrus will cast in preparation is just before we roll up. You'll cast Mirror Image.
Sounds good.
Are we doing minutes per level?
You'll do minutes when we get very close. Yeah.
You guys had all the time in the world to jump on them, so you could cast a lot of minute per levels beforehand. Let me get initiative rolling here.
Then I will add Bear's Endurance and Shield of Faith to that list.
Yeah. Keep in mind this is the same day as the fight
Yeah.
with the alchemical golems.
Zephyrus has 4 images, 4 mirror images.
Thurgus has a lot of Bear.
Okay, I just need to get her thugs and everything. Okay. We'll call her Lavender. She's got a +3. As you've kind of announced that there's something here to be concerned about with the sound of the rabble of 32 sick humans. We've got her thugs. +1. The archer that has already been introduced to San.
Son, you want fire arrows? I can give you flame arrows if you want them.
Have they had the conversation where Son knows that it doesn't mean that the arrows will burn, that they'll just cause fire damage?
I'm sure we did because we've used this multiple times.
Well, I know we used it once and it caused Son to drop the quiver. So presumably we had the conversation after. Like, yeah, might as well. They'll probably burn.
Zephyrus casts Flame Arrow on Son's quiver.
Mm-hmm. Is the quiver 20 arrows?
I think
It's how many you can actually just hold together like that.
The spell will say how many maximum it affects.
I think it's 50 rounds of ammunition.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know
Oh,
if Son has
50
that.
projectiles.
Yeah, 50 projectiles.
I don't know if Son has that many arrows. Yeah, he only has 40.
All of them must be together at the time of casting, so it's got to be They've got to be held together.
Okay, I've taken some random numbers and added them to the initiative sheet in order that the people appeared. I am sorting initiative. There might be commotion. There's definitely some people sticking their heads out of windows, and you hear a couple of like shutters slam shut, like people don't want to be part of whatever it is coming. Pharisee, there's no obvious movement from that area, although you're pretty sure that people in these buildings have heard the cacophony that the professor has conjured.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'll hop out and I'll just say, Lavender, we've come to see your cures. Show yourself. Let the people see the one who seems to have this magical cure.
Okay. You're kind of shouting at the shop from about 100 feet away.
As Pharisee speaks, the like rabble of the crowd will sort of dissipate into low moan to like let her voice carry, and then as she finishes, it will raise back up in a crescendo.
Okay, you kind of give her space to yell. Nice. Okay. Any other action? So you took a move and you spoke?
It's a wonderful business opportunity!
Give me a charisma check, Pharisee.
Sure.
Not a diplomacy. Diplomacy usually needs a minute of warm-up. This is more of a...
I'm not telling the truth, of course.
Yep.
Am I bluffing?
Nope, just a charisma check.
Oh, okay.
Dirty 20.
Okay, Makranam is just hanging out on Zephyrus's back. It's hard to tell with the cacophony in the distance whether there's anything going on. Pharisee, you're the only one outside of the wagon, so you can actually see more clearly. There was somebody...
and Balamut are as well.
Oh, you guys are on top? Okay, so San, Balamut, and Pharisee all see that there might have been a figure at the tinted window, kind of maybe looking out to see what the fuck's going on, but the figure went away. Like, there was a shape right around this part of the window that came to look. It's not perfect glass. Like, it's not like modern, really transparent glass. It's got a degree of opacity to it. So you just see a figure from your vantage point. Bukrebek is tootling away, but staying relatively close. Thurgus.
Can I... Thurgus is not a tactician. He's kind of following the lead of the clearly smarter people in the carriage. Can I ready an action to kind of bail out if the carriage gets closer and I perceive a threat?
Yep. Zephyrus?
I'll do that.
The carriage is moving, but it's moving slowly because Pharisee also has wings, so she sort of flew out of the side of the wagon. Or the carriage. Zephyrus, what are you doing?
Zephyrus is going to cast haste on everybody in the carriage.
Okay. I think you need to exclude some of the minorlings. You can get 8 creatures, and if I count...
We don't have Bukrebek anymore, so I think it's 8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, you're either getting Pixel or the Crawling Claw.
Yeah,
I'll get Pixel.
Okay.
It never leaves my side.
Zephyrus' haste lasts 8 rounds, so round 9. Okay. Nice. And Balamut.
Chilling. Doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
Okay. San.
Same. I guess he takes his bow off, kind of holds it in his hand. But we're far enough away that San's just kind of lying there.
Okay, Professor. Your carriage moves on your turn. What's his movement rate?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think it's 40. So it moves 10 and 10, or 40 and 40, unless you're commanding it to slow down.
I'm gonna want it to stop right in front of the shop. It doesn't say
Okay.
in the description, so it's probably whatever default.
So it's moving at a good clip, but not like at running speed towards the shop. It's still there. There are some figures in the shop. You do see, like there might be a man standing a little bit deeper in the shop, and there's all sorts of like little tiny shelves with pretty bottles and perfume bottles, aligning, like pushed up against the window, like it's more meant to be a display. But you can see figures moving around in the back of the shop itself. Thug. All right, there is a guy that seems to almost be pushed out into the street by somebody else. He's unarmed. His hat falls onto the ground. He's like, oh, he's looking around, and he scoops up his hat and puts his hat on, and he's looking at the scarage coming, and that's what he does his turn.
Ready does not go off. I do not perceive him as a threat.
Okay.
So it's a professor's go here.
Yeah.
So we're not directly in front of the shop yet. Have I used any of my actions to control the carriage, or is that just kind of set it and forget it?
It's set and forget, but if you don't command it, it might just go right past the shop.
Do I do that command this turn, or because I want to stop it right in front of the shop at the appropriate time?
You could issue the command this turn or next turn. Up to you.
I'll do, and that's a move action to do that.
Give it different direction, sure.
I'm trying to get at can I concentrate on an illusion and stop the carriage in one turn?
Yes.
Okay, so as we roll closer, the professor will do his dual spell casting, I believe it's called, to do two spells as long as they're less than my highest spell level. I'm also going to spend an arcane point to increase the DC of spells cast this turn. The first thing I am going to do is I am going to cast Visions of Hell as deep into the structure as I can. It has a range and then an emanation. I assume I have to be able to see, so I might be able to get it through a window into the building. Is that possible? It's got a medium range. It does a 50-foot emanation, radius emanation.
Yeah. We're going to say that because it's non-magical glass, you can cast through it. So you can only see a little bit into the shop from your vantage point. You're in a window inside of a moving carriage pointing at a shop that's not quite ahead of you, and you're casting a spell. So this 50-foot emanation of hellscape targets approximately... Let's just make a big black aura. So you're kind of looking in this way. You can get it deep within the shop. And then there's this 50-foot aura of hellscape.
Yeah. I will...
Structures, equipment, the shop window, the side of the building, all take on a very dire and infernal appearance. The shop windows, the metal of the windows begin to warp and move inwards. The reflections off the windows almost take on a veneer of a madhouse mirror. Some of the bottles start to bubble over and look nefarious. The doors themselves almost grow hands over top of the doorknobs. The street begins to crack as if there's some infernal fume that needs to now escape from the street itself. There's a grate to the sewer that is now fogging over with a weird green glow coming from underneath it, and then a horrible rot is growing up the sides of buildings, giving them a very decrepit and nefarious look. I think everyone in the aura needs to make a will save or be shaken.
Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to put it this far into the street. Sorry about that. You'll notice, strangely though, the professor didn't seem to move his hands around or say anything. This just sort of appeared. You're used to that sort of happening around him, but the hands didn't. His hands didn't hit the cast.
Look at those rolls. What's the DC of this nastiness?
The DC is 25.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's all.
So the one with an actual will save, I think. No. Okay. Failed, and failed. And then the guy in the street's like, ah! he's screaming. He doesn't know what's going on, and it looks like he wants to run.
And then for the second spell to complete my casting, I will cast Major Image. And I am going to try and cover as much of the front of this building with the image's area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make like the walls as much inside and out as I can start to bleed. And as they bleed, they'll make a soft moaning sound. So, like, the moaning is now coming from inside, and we'll have a very cute...
Are the windows bleeding as well?
Yeah, the windows are bleeding, not to cover the viewport, so we could still see in and everything, but, like, around the window, blood will trickle through. I want the walls...
What's the area of this bloody mess?
Yeah, that is a good question. It is 4 10-foot cubes plus 1 10-foot cube per level. 120. So 12 10-foot cubes.
Okay, so you can see into here the whole front of the shop as well as the side where the stairs lead up to a door. Are bubbling with blood and humming, you said?
Like moaning softly. Like it'll sound very much like the rabble in the streets. It will sort of pulse with their same moaning.
Okay, you can hear swearing and commotion from within the shop. It's kind of panicked commotion.
That will be my turn.
All right. There's some movement. There's some movement inside. There might be some slamming of doors.
And as far as who's, the professor's concentrating on the major image. Visions of Hell doesn't require concentration. The hand is concentrating on the ghost hand.
Yep. Pharisee, what are you doing?
Pharisee is gonna fly up closer. She's gonna stay out of this area that looks terrible, if possible.
Yeah, you can see the boundaries of it, where the street is not cracked and glowing with brimstone.
Yeah. And she's gonna yell out in a loud voice, "Lavender, we mean you no harm. Set your illusions aside. You don't need to fear us. We've brought paper and also gold if you crave it. Come out and treat with us."
Oh, it's good to have you back, Professor. It looks strange outside.
Yeah, so you're yelling your proclamation. You hear commotion. No woman has come forward yet. It's her turn. Actually, that door looks like it might lead into a basement. Doesn't look like it leads into the shop itself, so she's not coming out that way. There might be a figure that comes to the window. You could see a hand trying to wipe things. like they're trying to, maybe she's trying to clear the blood to have a look, but yeah, you see a woman. She's humanoid. She's in a nice not quite a dress. It's more like a dressed up work uniform, like a stylized craftsman uniform. It's about all you could see from her. She does have some bottles and things at her belt, maybe. It's hard to see through the bloody window, but she's trying to mop up the blood to see what's going on. That might be Lavender. Bukerbeck, not doing anything. Thurgus.
I would like to. Essentially, I want to cast Remove Fear once the cart gets into the radius of the effect.
Okay. So you're ready to cast Remove Fear?
Yeah. Can I see Pharisee?
Yeah. There are windows in the side of the cart. She's flying alongside the wagon, basically, or the carriage.
Okay, then yeah, my intent would be to cast Remove Fear on the same number of targets as the haste targets.
Zephyros.
Zephyros clearly doesn't know that Thurgus is planning to do this, right? Because Zephyros is scared. He's already failed his saving throw.
Oh, I would say something. We all need to get together and grit our teeth. And he just kind of like does this thing like he's going to cast something. I got this. Be brave.
Does Zephyros need to make a saving throw in order to listen to Thurgus at this point?
Well, actually, you're not in the area. You were dragged forward for some reason, but
okay.
you were just out of it. The unseen servant is just out of it as well. The two horses seem unaffected by it, but you can keep your save that you rolled. It does look like it's scary. Balamut is on the roof. Balamut's now stood up from his prone position and is looking around. He kind of looks at Son a little bit and then looks at the scariness. Son?
Does Son know that...
Oh, sorry, Zephyros, what are you actually doing?
Zephyros won't do anything at this point. He's just sitting here waiting for Zephyros to do what he's going to do.
Son?
Does Son know that these are Professor's illusions? He didn't see the Professor cast or anything. I guess no one did, but Son doesn't know that.
Yeah, maybe you found the real nature of the place has revealed itself. Everyone seems to be on edge, though, and it looks like everyone's ready for a fight. Pharisee is telling the woman to come out, and when she started telling the woman to come out, the building started to bleed, and the neighborhood looked like it was going to hell. Literally.
Thurgus is in here, and I'll go, you're new around here. Try not to believe too much of what you see. Most of it can't really hurt you. It's not real after all. And I'll do a wink to everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Son doesn't see that.
So the only two figures Son can see is a woman in the window. It looks like heavy lead glass, and a guy who recovered his hat after being pushed out of a doorway, and he looks like he's ready to bolt.
Okay, I haven't actually rolled fear save yet. Should I do that now?
No, you guys haven't rolled into it.
So it's not when you're seen; it's when you're there.
Yeah.
You roll. Gotcha.
In 1 second, you will, but you get to go first.
Okay. I get just ready in action. If a threat presents itself, shoot it. Otherwise, Son doesn't do anything. Maybe try and calm, what's his face, Balamut down.
Yep.
Prepare. Help. Oh, actually, you know what? Yes. Cast guidance on Balamut.
All right. Professor, the thing's rolling.
I think the professor, having originally underestimated the size of the vision of hell, will stop it before everyone rolls into it.
We should be good. It's just shaken, right?
Yeah.
Remove Fear will suppress it. I don't think you have to worry about it too much. It might actually be good that we just roll up in the middle of it.
I guess feeling a little reassured by having Thurgus here.
You gotta be brave, son. I've been to a hellscape before. This is nothing.
On we go. I'll have it roll to the front of the shop. Stop it there.
Okay, so now everyone makes their saving throw, but I think Thurgus is ready to action. Goes off and he makes a prayer to the blood bear. And how many targets does your remove fear?
8.
Okay. Given that the crawling claw usually is invisible on the professor's shoulder, you really did not target that.
Makes sense.
But you were able to, just as you were rolling into the fear aura, you're able to get Pharisee and Pixel in that as well.
Wait, remove fear the spell, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So his intent is basically if anybody fails their save once we roll in, he casts remove fear and it suppresses fear effects.
So
Shaken
I'm looking
is
at
a fear
this.
effect.
I'm looking at the spell description right now. It just says 1 creature plus 1 additional per 4 levels.
Oh, per 4. Oh, that's a
Yeah.
good call.
Yeah, you can cast it in response to anybody suddenly looking scared.
Yep.
Like a
I would allow that.
elephant that's about to cast
Yep.
invisibility on yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's a good
I need a
call. So
will
it'll be 3
save.
targets.
I need a will
Apologize.
save from the people who rolled into it, and then because you're now waiting until you see scared faces, you're probably not going to be able to get Pharisee and Pixel into it because
Makes
And
sense.
he doesn't see Son and Balamut either because we're on top of the carriage.
you're on top of the carriage. Yep.
With 3 targets, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
All right, so Makronom, Zephyros, Professor, you don't have to roll against your own illusion, I don't think. Thurgus, Son, and Balmut all need to make will saves against.
Zephyros failed his will save. You rolled
Okay.
a 17.
Yo, how do you make a roll and then like comment next to it what it is?
You type in 1d20 plus whatever, and then you open a space and then open a quotation a bracket, and then you type what you want and close the bracket.
Round brackets.
Yeah, that's what I do.
So parentheses.
So I'll use my move action will be to stop the carriage.
Oh, hold on, we need to do all the reflex saves, or the will saves.
And this is versus fear, right?
This is a fear effect, so certain things will apply.
Uh-huh.
Alright, Zephyros, did you fail? You're shaken. Makronom fails, he's shaken. Thurgus?
Then I will just include Zephyros and Makronom, I guess.
Son?
Son, DC is 25, right?
I don't know. I'm looking at Luke.
DC 25.
25, you said 25.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So Son succeeded, Balamut failed.
Okay, Balmut failed. Alright, so then a ready action goes off. Thurgus, I'm going to drop your initiative to that of the Professor. It's like you rolled a 2. And you manage to suppress the shaken effect on Zephyros, Makronom, and yourself. But you're all right anyways. Okay, now that was the carriage moving. You're telling the carriage to stop?
Yes.
Okay, so it stops. Oh, sorry, on the thug's turn, this guy's like, I don't get paid enough for this! And he's running down the road.
Just like last time.
He falls in the road, gets back up, and picks up his hat. He's running, looking over his shoulder at this horrible scarage and the hellscape, and he's running.
The crawling hand will stop concentrating on the moans in the street. They'll linger for 4 rounds after this. And the professor will pass concentration for the major image of the bleeding walls onto the crawling hand. The professor will use the quick action or swift action of the invisibility field to turn himself invisible. And I'm trying to look for a pathway through like a window, trying to see as close to the front door as I can. Can I get any? Is there like anywhere near a visual line of sight to around the front door?
The front door here?
Yeah. That's the front door, I guess. Yeah.
The windows aren't the type that open. They're like fixed. They're heavy. They're fixed. They're thick.
And just this is the windows on the shop.
Yep.
Okay, so I could see like to here, and I think that's pretty close to the front door, right? Or I can see somewhere like right around here.
Yeah, you can see into the shop. You can see there are some tables and like a table full of perfume bottles.
All right, I will use Dimension Hop and hop myself and the crawling hand in there.